Well, folks, it's that time of season again, my favorite time of the year. Got my Santa reference in front of me, and I got my materials. The paper I use is a heavy volume with texture on one side and smooth on the other, and that's the side I use. So when I do my outlines, I'm very different. For most people, they do a layered effect, tracing the shapes first, the oval with the eye line, the nose line, the mouth line, and so on and so forth. I don't do that. Personally, I just think it's a waste of time and a lot of erasing and a bunch of stuff in between. I think training yourself to look at something and be able to adjust and vary the size just by sight is pretty good technique to use. So you can see I've got most of my features, and that's the main thing. The features are very important. As long as you get the features in the right place and everything the right size in proportion to each other, it'll look like the person or the thing that you're trying to draw. And so I do a lot of little tweaking here and there, and I personalize things and make the drawing my own. So a lot of the time it will not be exact unless obviously it's a portrait of a specific person, like a family member. Obviously it needs to look exactly like them, but a lot of the time you can make your own. So I use Prismacolor, the turquoise pencils for my sketching and drawing, and the Prismacolor color pencils for my coloring. This part always gets people. The layering of colors, the way that the colored pencils work, it's like a kind of a heavier wax, and so I push pretty hard and I blend, and so that's how I get my tones. I start with the darkest tone first usually and build my way up to the lightest tone at the end. So once I kind of figured out my skin tone and certain other features, I will do little details here and there. I go back and forth a lot. I jump around, so it's not very concise. I don't go from just the top all the way to the bottom. Usually I start with the face and the features first, and then I kind of build out my drawing from there. Right now I'm doing the beard, and as you see, it's just a lot of little squiggly rough lines because obviously hair is very wispy, it's not perfect, and to get the most realistic look, I guess, out of hair is to make it look as ununiform or less uniform as possible to get that kind of free, wispy, flowy feel to it. I always say that the soul of the portrait or a picture is in the eyes, and I think you can see why here. I think once the eyes come into play, it's just rounds out everything. It just makes the picture look alive. And so the eyes are one of my favorite parts of something to draw because it just gives so much life to the drawing. So on his coat, obviously again, starting with the shadows and the areas that are going to be the darkest, I do my first tone with a black or a really dark gray. And like I said, the waxes in the pencils, they work really well and they build up on each other really well, as long as you know how to use them the right way. So, like I said, I push really hard and I pretty much fill in every little space. It's very smooth rather than going lightly over the paper and kind of leaving this, it almost looks dusty or not fully complete, at least to me. And so that's why I like doing it this way. It looks shinier. You get a lot more, I think, fullness of color. The boldness and everything stands out more. And it will cost you more in pencils, obviously. You're going to go through a lot more pencils. You can see some of the pencils that I'm working with are very, very short. Use them all the way to the very end because they are not cheap. And here's the finished product. Good old happy jolly Santa. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have a Merry Christmas.